It's possible to drop your blood pressure significantly without taking pills. And in this video, I'm going to show you 5 proven ways to do so. If you don't know who I am, my name is Harlow and I'm the Over-Fifties specialist physio here at HT Physio in Farnham. And today I'm going to be showing you 5 proven ways to drop your blood pressure by 20 points or more. Now, high blood pressure is a really dangerous thing. It's incredibly common, especially in the Western world, and it's associated with a higher risk of stroke, a higher risk of cardiovascular disease, and it can also lead to problems like kidney disease and even Alzheimer's. All of these things have been shown to be more likely for people with high blood pressure. Now, if you go to your GP with high blood pressure, which you should do by the way, they might suggest that you go on to medication. And if you've been told you need medication, then definitely go with the advice of your doctor. But for many people, it's possible to drop their blood pressure so significantly that eventually they no longer need medication just through natural means. So in today's video, I'm going to give you 5 proven ways. The first thing to note is these exercises and these pieces of advice are not suitable for everyone. They're definitely not designed to replace the advice you got from your doctor. So don't do anything without checking with your doctor first and avoid any of the exercises that cause you pain. So let's have a talk about some of the ways that are proven to help over 50s reduce their blood pressure. So the first way that's been proven to help people over 50 to reduce their blood pressure is to take brisk walks. Now, when I'm telling people to take brisk walks, what I usually recommend people start with is 3 brisk walks of about 10 to 15 minutes duration per day. Now, the reason we say brisk is because walking faster increases the heart rate more, and it seems to be better for reducing blood pressure over the long term than taking one very long, very slow walk. So I'd much rather someone did 3 brisk 15-minute walks than one very long 1-hour walk at a slower pace. It just seems to be better for cardiovascular fitness and has a better effect on blood pressure. And the second way to improve your blood pressure and to improve your health overall is to do 30 minutes of stationary cycling each day. Now, I love the exercise bike for most people. It's such a good way to increase the heart rate and to get the lungs working. It makes your cardiovascular system more efficient and it will help you reduce body weight as well. If you're overweight, that can contribute to high blood pressure too. So by going on the stationary bike for 30 minutes in the morning, you're going to increase your heart rate, you're going to get the lungs working, you're going to lose some excess weight, and your blood pressure should come down over time too. So those are 2 bits of general advice, but I also have some specific exercises to show you now. So let's have a look at some more proven ways to reduce blood pressure by 20 points or more. So one of the proven best ways to improve your blood pressure is to do isometric exercise. In a recent meta-analysis done by the British Journal of Sports Medicine, researchers found that to their surprise, isometric exercise was superior to any other form of exercise for reducing blood pressure. An isometric exercise is basically any muscle contraction where you're contracting the muscle but no movement is happening. So this is an isometric contraction of my bicep. So I'm pushing up, this hand is pushing down, no movement's happening, but the muscle's still activating. So it seems that that seems to be the best way to reduce blood pressure for many people. And there is one exercise, which is an isometric exercise, in those studies that seem to be most effective, and they call it the wall sit. So to do the wall sit, it's really simple. All you need is a wall, and you're going to sit against it like this with your feet probably about 18 inches away from the wall. Now, I'm going to do this in socks, but I'd recommend people do this in shoes just so they don't slip like this. And the wall sit is nice for most people because you can vary how high you go depending on how comfortable your knees are. So the exercise is just like this. You're just going to come down on the wall until you find a comfortable position where you can feel your thigh muscles working, but your knees are not in pain. And then you're just going to hold it. And in the studies that were done in that meta-analysis, it was shown that about 2 minutes of a contraction is optimal. Now, when you get into this position, you'll soon realize that 2 minutes is a very long time. So don't go so deep that it starts to get really sore. find a position that you can comfortably hold for 2 minutes, but what we want to find is by the end of the 2 minutes, it's quite difficult. So you should be feeling like you're shaking a little bit by the end of the 2 minutes, but not so much that you're about to collapse on the floor. And if you can do that a couple of times a day, it's going to be fantastic for controlling blood pressure. Now, there's one very important point with isometric exercises. Because we're holding everything still, there's a temptation to hold your breath as well. And that's actually really bad for blood pressure. It will increase your blood pressure. So what we want to make sure is, even though we're holding the muscle contraction, we're still breathing smoothly throughout the set, okay? So not over breathing, but just making sure we're not holding our breath, we're just holding the muscle contraction. So the next type of exercise that's shown to be really effective for reducing blood pressure is resistance exercise. And again, this is something that many people are surprised by. They think, oh, I've got high blood pressure, I shouldn't be straining to lift heavy weights. And to a certain extent, that's true, but you don't have to pick up really heavy weights to make resistance training effective. All I've got here is a light band, and I'm going to show you how to do an effective resistance workout without heavy weights. So the key for this is we're going to be working our muscle groups to the point of fatigue, but again, we're going to make sure we're breathing throughout the movement, we're not holding our breath, and we're not working to the point where we feel like we've got a vein in our head that's about to burst. But we are going to be working the muscles to the point where they feel tired. Now, one important thing for blood pressure workouts is we want to try and avoid changing positions too much. So we don't want to be doing things like getting up and down from the floor lots of times, just because that can cause dizziness. So I'm going to show you 3 exercises that you can do from standing with a band. So the first thing we're going to do is just going to drape the band on the floor and stand on the middle of it with about equal tension in each hand. I'm going to show you an exercise called the curl and press. So the curl and press looks like this. You bring it up like this, then you're going to come out and then up over the head and back down, in and down. And this is a lovely exercise for working the arms and the shoulders. It gets both sides of the arm, it gets the bicep and the tricep, and it also gets the deltoids and the rotator cuff working. It's a really nice exercise for people who don't do tons of resistance training, but they just want to get an all-over compound workout for the arms. And it's good for people with blood pressure problems because you don't have to get up and down from the floor. So once you've done a set of 10 or 12 of those, we're going to move on to the next exercise, and I call this the standing press. Again, we're going to stand with the band in the same position. You're going to bring it up like this, and we're going to push out in front of us, keeping our tummy tight and the buttocks squeezed together, and then back in like this. So you'll feel this is an interesting exercise because even though it looks like it's a chest movement, it's actually more of a shoulder exercise. So I can feel the fronts of my shoulders working quite hard, and they're working hard to keep my arms extended in front of me as I extend the elbows. Now you also have to work your back and your core to keep everything still. So this is a nice exercise which gives you isometric exercise here in your core, which has again been shown to be very, very effective. So once you've done a set of 10 or 12 of those, you can go straight on to doing a set of lateral raises. And this is another great standing exercise. It doesn't involve having to bend or twist or do anything that might increase your blood pressure. And equally, we want to make sure that we're breathing in and out. Now you might time your breathing the opposite way, so you might time it and then out as you go up and in as you come down. It doesn't really matter as long as you pick a tempo and you stick to it, and a tempo that works well for you. So that's a nice little workout that you can do. Obviously those exercises are not the only ones. There are lots of different band things you can do. I've got loads more on my channel, but that's just something to get most people started and should help you with your blood pressure. And then the final form of exercise that can be great for reducing blood pressure is yoga. Now it's been shown that a combination of breathing control, postural control and meditation is fantastic for reducing high blood pressure. So I'm going to show you an easy yoga routine that you can do from a chair. Obviously any yoga is pretty good for blood pressure as long as it's comfortable for you to do so, but this is just something to get you started. So I'm going to show you my variation of a few different yoga poses that can help you, but it's important that you also focus on relaxing as you do these movements. They're not going to be as effective if you're doing the stretches, you're straining, and you're thinking about all of the things you've got to do for work at the same time. We need to actually take the time to relax and allow the mind to settle. So if you find yourself moving towards like a meditation app or something, that can also be a useful thing. But let's have a look at the routine now. So we're going to start off with what they call the pigeon pose in yoga. So we're doing it from a chair. So we're going to sit up nice and tall in the chair with a relaxed posture as well. And just bring one leg up towards you like this, holding onto your ankle as you support it on the opposite knee. Then you're going to put your other hand just on top of that knee and rest it there. The first thing we're going to do is sit up nice and tall, and already I can feel a stretch in my hip, and the reason I can feel it there is because I did a leg workout yesterday and they're still quite tight from that. Now if you can, it's nice to just slightly bend forward. You can see I can't get very far because of the tightness there at the moment, but as you do so, you want to try and breathe out and move closer towards your knee. Now some people will only be able to get to here. That's totally fine. Don't strain. The important thing is just to feel that gentle stretch and then to hold it. Making sure, really important, to breathe. And I recommend staying in these poses for at least 30 seconds, maybe a minute, because we're working on both relaxation and stretching, and then swapping over to the other side. So you're going to bring this leg up to here like this. Keep a nice good posture, nice and relaxed. You should already feel that stretch there. Hand on top, sit up tall, slight lean forward, breathing out as you do so. Making sure to breathe throughout the movement. So once you've held that for 30 to 60 seconds, we're going to move into the next pose. And this is a variation of the eagle pose. It's certainly not the traditional eagle, but it's one that I've adapted. So you're going to this time keep your legs nice and tight and just cross one leg over the other like this. So you should have your knees almost on top of each other. Again, we're going to sit tall, and now we're going to take both hands and just put them on that knee and just tug this knee gently across the body. So we're not pulling it, we're just rolling it in across the body until we get a bit of a stretch again in the buttock, but in a slightly different location. So once you've got that pose in position, going to breathe in and out, allowing the whole body, not just the hip, to relax. So we're going to hold that for another 30 to 60 seconds before swapping sides. So sitting tall, bringing that leg right over that one, almost wedging them together like this, taking your hand over the top and just rolling this leg that way using both hands. And again, breathing gently. I like to go in through the nose and then out through the mouth. There's some research, by the way, to show that a breath of 5.5 seconds in and 5.5 seconds out is one of the best breathing methods for both oxygenation of the body and relaxation. So that means it's probably really good for blood pressure as well. So those are the first two poses. Then we're going to move slightly higher up and we're going to work on the back. Before I show you this last pose, it's important to note 88% of people who watch these videos have not yet subscribed to the channel. So if that's you, scroll down, hit the subscribe button. It's totally free, but then you'll be the first to hear about our videos when they come out. Let's look at this last pose now. This is called the cat-cow, and it's a variation of a different exercise that people do on all fours. But for this exercise, you're going to put both hands on your knees. Your feet are going to be flat on the floor. And you're going to start with a neutral upright posture. The first thing we're going to do is we're just going to stretch so that our chest comes forward and we're slightly arching our backs. And then once we've held that position for 5 seconds, we're going to reverse it and we're going to stick the back out, pull the chest in, bring the head down and sink backwards into the cow. Then we're going to come back up into the cat. So we're going to push the chest out forward, pretending we're a cat that's stretching in the morning with a nice straight arm. And then we're going to sink back into the cow position, really rounding our back, making sure to keep breathing. So you might breathe in here And breathe out as you get to the top of the movement. And then on the way down, breathing in, and then out as you sink into the movement. And just alternating between those two positions for a minute is a brilliant way to get an all-over stretch for the upper and lower half of your body. So hopefully that's been really, really useful. That's a great starting point for chair yoga, but there's lots of other exercises on my channel that can help you to improve your flexibility and similarly decrease your blood pressure as well. So those are 5 proven ways to drop blood pressure by 20 points or more. I hope that video has been useful. If it has, please do drop a comment below because I'd love to read your thoughts. And if you want to get more from me, you can pick up a copy of my book. It's called Thriving Beyond 50 and you can find it on Amazon using the link below. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate your time and I'll speak to you on the next video.